Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the second STEM installment of the STEM Forum. If you remember back in July, we hosted the first one with 3 TechnicBots alumni who did FTC in the past. This time we're joined by a very special person, a doctor from LEN Tech Incorporated, Dr. Gonggui Xu, and he is a microchip designer. And he's also the founding member for the startup company Taos. So he's the lead designer for the 7th generation mobile phone light sensor. So this actually dominated the market for more than a decade, and it's widely used in various smartphones that you may know of, such as the iPhone, the Samsung Galaxy, and Xiaomi, and other Android phones as well. He also has an IEE solid state circuit. He was also a former chair at the IEE Solid State Circuit Society in Dallas. And he also has a Bachelor of Science and Applied Mathematics in Tsinghua University in Beijing. Also, he has a Master of Science and Computer Visualization from the China Academy of Engineering Physics in Beijing. And then in the United States, he has a PhD in Electrical Engineering from Texas A&M in College Station. So it's a very long list of credentials, and I am honored to introduce Dr. Gonggui Xu as our keynote speaker for today.
Thank you, Ayush. It's my honor to join your forum here. And, just think it's very good to share some of my experience to the community here. I believe all these here are very interested in engineering, STEM in general. So I hope my experience shared today will give you some insight, how you make a decision one way or the other. Also, I think lots of parents probably join here, and lots of parents, they may do a better job than me, but I just brave enough to jump up to share my experience. I just think, the people, the student here, they are just part of a very special group. They really love the engineering and the science. So I think it's good to share my experience. How should, if you choose this area as your future career, so some of my learning experience may be good for you. Okay. So first of all, I want to share with you, how I become an engineer. I did both area, like computer science programmer, and later electrical engineering as a chip designer. Probably different people have different motivation, but for me, actually, it's just very simple. Just the first reason is curiosity. When I was small kids, lots of people here have they may be, your parents or your neighbor or immigrants. I'm kind of immigrant from China. When I was small kids, I'm not as lucky as you guys here. So you have lots of, material surrounding you, lots of good, library here. But when I was small kids, I live in the countryside. I have no book, have, even food barely, meet daily needs. So fortunately, okay, one of my teachers just live near my house. We are in the countryside. It's not a big house, just like very simple, like living area there. He has a radio. He has a radio, like radio box. Every day when I, finish my school, I heard something, come from that radio. So I learned a great deal, from that radio. We listen some like, radio talks, some program. So not only I like to listen to the radio, but I really curious how that radio works. The radio has nothing connected to anything, but it's just able to speak something there. So that's my curiosity. That's why, probably long 50 years ago, sometime in a very remote countryside in China, some kind of a curiosity seed planted in my heart. So how should I, make a radio and things like that. So that's one part of the motivation why I become an engineer. Another part of the motivation is really just as I told you, I live in a very kind of poor countryside. So really, I really want to have a better life. That's why, when my parents told me, as an engineer, you really have a pretty good pay, and I think this is still hold true now in the U.S. In general, engineering job is a well-paid job. That's the one of another major reason I choose as an engineer. Later either a software engineer or chip designer. If you have that kind of motivation, that basically, in my situation, it's very hard to move on if you do not cannot qualify yourself, to go to to go to certain university, because it's not that easy to enter the school there. So basically, just like as you guys do, I try to do my best, try to do a good work, in the school, and I try to be try to get what I want. You know what? When I finish, just like right now, like after the your age, when I was in your age, I tried to decide what should I do. I have biggest fear in my mind, what to choose from. On the one side, I want to be engineer. I try to do something what I want, but on the other side, I have some physical limitation. I'm colorblind. If I choose some major there, I really has the fear. Maybe the school, even though give me an entry, but when I get to the school, get to the college, they may kick me back, because of my colorblind situation. So that's why when I choose a college, okay, I just want to be absolutely sure to get get entry to the college. I just choose the mathematics. So in my simple mind, I think mathematics is probably do not care about the color bar as long as I can count the number. So when I get to the college, actually I figure out actually I'm not alone. About 30 students in my class, 10 of them are colorblind. They probably have shared the same fear as I did. So anyway, that's why my first field I go get into is applied mathematics, and applied mathematics at that time is really kind of really like not really connected to the real world. So they really talk about some theory, one theory in one area, another theory in a different area. I didn't enjoy very much, but as I told you, if you want to do something, you better finish up this major as good as you can. So within this college years, okay, I didn't have much experience or luxury to learn some engineering course there, but I tried to be good students. Fortunately, at the end of my college years, I get a nice reward from that hard work. So I, in the college, in China situation, if you are a good student, they give you exemption. You do not need to take any exam. You are qualified to go anywhere you want. So fortunately enough, okay, I get that qualification. So I use that qualification, okay, to shopping around. So there's some field I can go to, like aerospace. You can like signal process in this field. Another space is a kind of a continuum mathematics. A third area is computer science. So that's why I choose that area. So eventually I choose the computer science. So that's how I migrated from the mathematics to computer science. This is kind of a first very important step for me to be an engineer, okay, to able to do something what I want. So when I finished my master's degree in computer science, I get a really nice job, as a programmer in the architecture and the civil engineering. At that time, this is kind of roughly 1990s. So that computer science or in general programming, it's just about explode in China. Every major field they have a certain like a programmer job. You can do something. For China, like 40 years ago, right now we look at back, this is actually we are just at the start point of started the big infrastructure, all the engineering, all the housing, boost boom there. So that job, okay, we design program to help the engineer to develop architecture design and civil engineering design there. So this is a really nice job, and I really get a pretty good pay from that job. I did a 2-year work there. At that time, lots of people talk about the US. They think US has lots of more opportunity there. I kind of follow the same trend. I just apply for the college here in the US, and I get fortunately I get some financial aid in Texas A&M College Station. At that time, even though my real dream is to be engineer or something, but at that time I still had the fear. Maybe I couldn't get the full admission to computer science or some double-E or whatever there. So I just applied for mathematics because that's my major in my undergraduate school there. Fortunately, I got my financial aid there, and I joined mathematics department in Texas A&M College Station. When I get there, I realized my dream is still in the engineering field. I first tried to do something in computer science. I almost finished my core course in computer science department. And in one summer, I think roughly 1 year, the first summer, before the summer, when I joined after 2 semesters in mathematics department, I just went to the double-E, the electrical engineering department. I see a professor, has some advertising notice in front of his office. He said he want to have some research assistant, position, offer to any qualified students. He want that student to have like good at mathematics, good at computer science, and also electrical engineering. When I look at that kind of opportunity, I think if I make up my electrical engineering background, probably I can qualify for that job, for that position. I talked to the professor, professor look at my eye, he think, are you serious? I said, I'm serious. There's an opportunity. See, how do you kind of convince me you are able to do my research? I told him it's very simple. Just give me a paper. I can read the paper. Then we can talk after that. He gave me the paper. I read the paper. I really know nothing about the paper, but after several days struggle, I realized this is mathematically just a model. They try to simplify the model. My mathematics understanding, theory or training give me the sense. Oh, I should be able to finish this work. I just simplify this model in a mathematical way. And after 4 weeks, I showed him my idea. And he really liked me. He just before that summer start end, he just gave me the research assistant position there. Then I joined his group and started from undergraduate study. Okay, I started from basics, home theory, like 101, like circuit theory. I really have nothing on electrical engineering. I just started from there. He's really generous enough, give me the funding to let me start from the basics of double-E there. So anyway, so I really appreciate that professor. Eventually, I finished my PhD degree in electrical engineering and migrated into the semiconductor, integrated circuit design there. So I just want to let you know. Okay, so if you your dream is to be engineer, okay, you need to do something to qualify yourself. Engineering is really something required lots of knowledge in mathematics, physics, also all the circuit theory, or if you like control theory, for example. I heard you guys talk about the PID or something, all this control theory, all this some basics there. So you need to really work hard, try to turn your curiosity into something you really understand. So this is more or less explains to you how to how I become engineer there. So next part I want to talk about in the rest of 10 minutes, to share with you, how to be a good engineer, because if you want to be engineer, doesn't mean you will be a good engineer there. And one part I want to let you know is engineer is kind of area is can be very busy or can be very relaxed there. So it really depends on you how you do this engineer work. The engineer work can be, if you are not careful, you can generate a lot of work. I see you guys build robotics, for example. If you're not careful there, if you can be very busy and you can never able to finish. Okay, I just want to let you know. Okay, so to be to be successful, I think is very important to understand some fundamentals. Either if you choose a certain sensor or certain idea there, try to understand some fundamentals. Even though at the very beginning it may take you some time to understand this fundamentals, but later this will be paid off. If you understand the fundamentals later, then you can simplify your algorithm, simplify your equipment or something, and you will get it done much earlier than you planned there. Another part is if you want to be a good engineer, try to think in two directions. One direction is look at the customer need. Just look outside your comfortable box. Look at the customer. Look at the market. If the market need something there, nobody can deliver. But if you are smart enough and you are innovative enough, you can deliver. Oh, market will reward you, very generously. One of my experience I can share with you is when I years ago when I started doing the sensor, my sensor is ambient light sensor. Basically try to to sense the ambient light and adjust your screen brightness, or like your phone or computer or any light, flat panel. If at at a strong light you want to make your screen brighter, and at the dark, at the evening you want to make the screen darker or something. This will save your energy. So basically that's the idea we want to develop. At the time, when we started this idea, there's no such a product in the market, and also we already have that knowledge accumulation, during the previous years, the product. We used to do like a printer scanner. Okay, we're able to sense the light, and we have this kind of product for many years. So when we look at the, at that time, the laptop and also the flat panel start to, show up on the market, very quickly. And at that time, actually, there's no smartphone there. So we just we just figure out this is a good time to develop this market. So we create this market, we create this ambient light sensor market, and and we just talk. We use this product, talk to Apple, Steve Jobs. He really like our product. So that's why our product was adopted into iPhone, from generation 1 all the way to probably iPhone 13, 11, something. So over the years, and we use this this market opportunity, to generate lots of revenue for the company, and also we feel proud of ourselves because we are able to contribute to the society, able to save the energy. The last point I want to share with you is if you want to be a good engineer, you need really have good planning. You first want to be innovative, have good planning, have good knowledge of product accumulation, and the most important part is the to-the-point execution. I know you guys work on the FTC project. Sometimes you dream really big. You really want to make your robots very unique, or try to do something nobody can do. But try to think execution. If you cannot finish your project on time, then you will fail. So try to get a big idea, but try to touch the ground. Try to execute this well. And another point, I think this 5 minutes left over there. So I want to give you some of my observation, suggestion to you. If you are in the engineering field there, in the engineering world, if you are the engineer, don't think you can do everything. Try to limit yourself to what you can do and what you can achieve. Otherwise, your life will be miserable, because the work can be unlimited, can be infinite. Try to limit yourself. Try to focus to finish what you can do. Another part is as an engineer, you probably have lots of work to do. Okay, even though you try to focus, you still have lots of work to do. If you sit there too long, I think your health will suffer. So my recommendation to you is, before you start doing your engineering work, try to do exercise. Try to either go to gym, run, or do some physical work. Try to build your body first. If you have a good body, good health, and you will strong, you will know actually it will be more efficient. You will finish your project much easier, and you will enjoy your work even more. So that's what I want to say to you, and I think let's open up the forum, to the conversation. You can ask me any questions. Then we can have a discussion to any topic that you want to know.
Yeah, for sure. So what I went and did is I turned off the thing where you can where you guys can unmute yourself now. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, instead of just like putting it in the chat, you can just speak up. And I think that would allow for us a lot more like better discussion. So first question, I'm just going to read the stuff in the chat. So from Arthur, he asks, what is your biggest regret in college?
The biggest regret in college, probably I should focus more on mathematics. I didn't, because mathematics is not my dream major. So I think I didn't pay much attention to the mathematics. So I think later in my career, I realized mathematics is really important. If you understand the mathematics, so all the other stuff is relatively easy. So that's my biggest regret.
Okay. The next question is, what part of China are you from? This is from Leo.
Yeah, I'm from Shandong province. Actually, it's not that poor, compared to the western part of China. It's right now is wealthy. Like 1980s, 1970s, Shandong is not that rich compared to the Shanghai, the suburb. Yeah.
Jessica asks, do you think going to an Ivy Leagues colleges or Stanford is important for our kids? Since you went to a very prestigious university, how would you think that these Ivy Leagues are really important like that?
I think Ivy League is very nice if you can attend, but from my experience, it's hard to say. When I was in college, in my class, I have a 30 classmates there. About 10% of fails. Four of my classmates, they cannot get a diploma. Their life is miserable because of this. So if you can, if you can be good, if you still keep competitive in the Ivy League, go there. There's no problem. But if it's very struggling, to me depends on you what's your situation there. But instead, if you can go to the college, you feel relatively easy for you, and if you can explore and try to develop your confidence in your study or your later life, I think it's even more important.
Yeah, for sure. And this is just a question from me. I know you briefly touched upon it, but where do you see handling the whole problem with, I guess, this generation with the mental health and also doing well in school? Because sometimes that can be hard to do both.
Yeah, I think that's a tough question to answer. In general, I think people try to do everything. This is so much to do there. But I'm not as smart as lots of people there. What I can do typically is focus, what I can do. If I cannot finish the project, for example, I will talk to my boss. If it's customer, then you have to be honest, tell the customer, we cannot finish on time. Then give you more time there. Don't just delay and give you more stress. In general, if you want to try to have good mental health, don't stress yourself too much. You can only work under the stress for example several weeks, but beyond that limit, you will collapse. So don't go that far. I see lots of smart students in Harvard or MIT. They may have developed a mental health problem if you are not careful.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we are taking some more questions, by the way. If you want to just unmute yourself, you can ask anything. Because this is good for multiple reasons. It's not just it was strictly about only career things. And we have another question here. How do you treat failure in the engineering world? It always gets boring if things get harder. So how did you, I guess, deal with that?
That's also a good one. If you choose to be engineer, okay, you will suffer, probably not daily basis, but you will suffer a lot. because the engineer is supposed to solve the problem. The problem in the nature is very stressful sometimes. Sometimes it's the easy one, sometimes it's not. So, you know, as I said earlier there, you know, if you cannot finish, you need to let your team know. And you are not alone, okay? And the team should know. And maybe because you maybe just choose the wrong direction, for example, you are stuck there. You just choose the wrong direction there. And if you cannot finish, you need to let your team know. And maybe as a team decision, you know, if we, I also it's okay to choose to fail. It's okay to be fail. To be honest with you. And we have you know two project, you know, even in Texas Instruments, I work in Texas Instruments, this kind of company there. They probably maybe at least you know 30%. I think maybe 30% project will fail. Maybe more. I don't know. Maybe another 30% never generated revenue. Maybe only 10 or 20% product get generate lots of money. In that sense, okay, it's very normal to fail, okay, as an engineer. But the important part is if you fail this time, try to learn something from this time. This failure experience will give you, you know, very important lesson learned for the future. So that's the only part you can get from this you know problem. So there's another question?
Yeah. So throughout your time, you've probably observed a lot of the younger generation of engineers, people you worked alongside, and people that you see like growing up. What do you think that they're like really lacking, and what advice would you give to the younger generation to get prepared for the future?
I think you know, actually the young generation, you know, my colleagues here in the company, I'm probably the oldest one in the company, still doing the design, doing the real day-to-day engineer work. The younger generation, I see actually is a pretty good, you know, is actually is much better than I was in that age there. So I think in general, I do not worry too much, you know, but but I have a little bit, you know, maybe advice for the young, you know, generation like you know. I think if you choose, you know, FTC or engineering field, you probably already better than majority people. So I think in the U.S. in general, this country, the culture wise, more focused on the you know like speech and you know talk, this kind of thing. They like they didn't respect too much on the engineering work there. So that part I worry about. So for the younger generation, I hope you guys can enjoy the engineering work and able to deliver the you know the product, try to contribute to the society. I think that's the advice I give to the young generation. Yeah, don't just look at the popular culture. You know, somebody you know, make lots of money by doing the Bitcoin or something, or maybe by trading in the stock, you know, make a billionaire or something. Don't look at that way. I think if you focus on engineering, you will get paid off pretty good at the end of your career.
Okay, next question from Brandon. Were you stressed when you were our age?
I think when I was in your age, I'm kind of the lucky one. I do not have any worry. So I'm even though my life is very simple and maybe hungry at a certain point there, but I do not have any worry because I'm probably one of the best students in the class. I really enjoy the study. Yeah. You know, and I really do not have any stress. You know, I just a lucky one, to be honest with you. I think I see lots of my classmates have lots of stress. Yeah. When I was in your age, I really feel lucky. You know, you know, every day I get good, you know, praise from my teacher. I really appreciate that.
Nice. Okay. Well, so that means that all of you should do better. Okay.
Yeah,
So
only thing I need to do better. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so from Leo, what Canadian universities are best if you want to seriously consider a career in software development?
I really don't know. Canadian university, I really don't know. I don't know very much. I cannot
So-
make any comments. Probably there's lots of good universities, but I just cannot make any recommendation.
Yeah. And what about American universities?
In America, in my field, I really like Stanford and Berkeley. This is one of the best universities. Texas A&M, I attended there. It's a good university, but it's not the best. So if I were in your age, I really will aim high. Try to go to Stanford, Berkeley. Yeah.
Okay, next question. I actually really like this one. This one's from Alex. I have social anxiety when I am talking in front of people. I can't tell what I have done, even though I've done some work. So do you have any suggestions of like overcoming that stage fright?
Well, yeah, I have a similar anxiety anyway. Today, before I talk to you guys, I also have similar anxiety. The anxiety is very natural. Okay, it's everybody has that similar fear. But if you think, if you forget yourself, if you just tell the truth, just try to help others, just forget yourself, you will feel much more relaxed. If you have anxiety because you care yourself too much, I think probably that's the reason. Yeah.
Okay, and see if we have any more questions. Again, you guys can just unmute if you don't want to type in the chat all this. And yeah. So, okay.
I have a question. Yeah. What is your take on the future of engineering or like STEM in general?
I think the future STEM will develop in a much rapid way. Just look at the artificial intelligence. Years ago, 40 years ago, when I was in college, artificial intelligence is the professor very hard to get any funding because there's no application for artificial intelligence. Same thing, in my field, in semiconductor field there. So if at that time the semiconductor only probably produced chips for computer, for example, but right now it's everywhere. So I think in general, I believe STEM will have a much bright future than ever. So if you choose this field, you will have a lots of things to do, and you can reward your reward is enormous. So I can see STEM is much more important than ever. That's my belief.
Okay, Elizabeth asks, do you have any thoughts on combating toxic competition / peer pressure when competing in STEM?
I think competition is everywhere. This kind of competition is not only in STEM, is everywhere. So that's probably come from the human weakness or something. So it's everywhere. I think that's okay. If you think positively, competition really help you, develop. If you don't work hard, if you be lazy, then you will be, you will be falling behind. So it's okay. Just the part you want to avoid toxic because you don't let the competition, bring you down. Your competition, supposed to, help you, to develop more. I think that's the main part. And competition is stronger and stronger. Even in my field, I see lots of companies doing the same product. Basically, one information is spread to every company. Every company try to develop the same product. So that's not good. So if you are smart enough, you should develop some unique and something better than now. So then you should do this. If you can't do this, then there's no toxic competition. Yeah. It's up to you, I think.
Okay, and unless we have any more questions, I think we're just gonna wrap it up there. If you have any other questions and you're like typing in the chat, just like unmute yourself and cut me off. Because I don't know, I don't know if you're typing something. So yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Xu for joining us today. It's a Sunday evening, and it's very, very kind of him to join us. Also, we're going to be hosting another one of these STEM forums in about 2 weeks. We're going to be hosting it at around the beginning of October. An email will go out to everybody who's signed up here, as well as people who signed up for the first one, to go join that, and we'll have a flyer, and we have a very special guest as well. So be on the lookout for that. It's on October 8th. And also make sure that make sure you, if you hear an email from us, that you're right on top of that, because we'd like to host these more often than we did earlier. So with that, I think that everybody can benefit by attending these, and it's like really insightful to hear these conversations from people that have been in the industry long enough that they can spread their knowledge to other people. So you can avoid certain pitfalls and take certain routes that might not have thought about earlier. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining today. And also, by the way, I almost forgot, there are 3 lucky people here. I'm gonna do a drawing of there's 3 people here who have the opportunity to either receive the opportunity either to go see our robot. Since we are an FTC team, we also do have a robot, or you can also have the opportunity to receive a pretty special gift from us. It'll be like a 3D printed part. And so that'll also be pretty cool. So I will, I guess, do that right now. And let me put in all the names first. Give me 1 second. And by the way, I'm only going to do it for people that are currently in the meeting. So don't leave the meeting in case you actually win. And yeah. Okay. Let me input all these names. I'm going to put myself as well in case I win. Okay. By the way, whoever is Samsung SMA136U, I'm just gonna list you off as that. And yeah. And person who is iPhone as well, I'm just gonna list you down as iPhone. Okay, so I am going to spin this. I have a wheel spinner, and let's see. All right, it looks like here. Let me share my screen so you guys know that I'm not faking this. 1 second. Okay, so for the first one, Alex won the first one, so good job, Alex. You definitely worked hard for this. And also, and so yeah, we'll just do another spin. And it looks like Leo won this time. Leo, I will by the way, since I have all y'all's contact information, I'll just send you guys emails, and then you can and we'll let you know more information about how we're gonna get this stuff to you. Okay, so Leo, good job. And then let's see, last one. Okay, we can't have Leo twice, so we're gonna spin it again. Actually, I'm gonna remove, and then yeah. And it's close. Oh, it's barely Hank. So Hank won that one. So yeah, those are the 3 winners. And I will email all of you for your awards, and that's it. That's it for me. That's it for the team as well. I hope you all are doing well. And yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording now, and then good job to everybody. Have a good day, everybody.